Well, today we are in Grass Valley, which is about 25 miles from Auburn, up in the hills. It looks like I have the camera at an angle, but I don't. It's just hilly. I came up here to introduce you to a guy that I read about that I thought, you know what, I have to go see him and pay my respects because of what he went through. So let me show you what he looks like. Here, let me show you him. And I don't know if you can see him or not because it's really kind of sunny out here. Shade, I need shade. There we go. Can you see him? Handsome devil, isn't he? He's 23. I suppose during that picture he was probably younger because it's an ROTC photograph, so I'm guessing he's 18, 19 at the time. Still handsome. He, along with 75,000 of his closest friends, were taken prisoner of war during World War II on the Bataan Peninsula when the American and Filipino fighters had to surrender to the Japanese. And they had to march for 6 or 7 days, 65 miles to the prison camps. Camp O'Donnell, there were several, I think, but the Camp O'Donnell was one of them. This guy that I just showed you, his name is Reid Shurtleff, First Lieutenant, 24th Field Artillery, World War II. He died about June 30th, 1942, in a prison camp after marching under horrid conditions 65 miles in the sweltering heat in April of 1942 through the Philippine jungle after living on Zippo food and water for two months or so after the what's his name, MacArthur left. So this guy, though, he went through a lot and he ended up dying for it. So he's one of the heroes of World War II, the greatest generation. They don't say greatest generation for nothing. So I thought that he deserved to have some recognition for what he went through. He's one of the few up here in Northern California that I know of. There are some like in San Francisco Bay Area that are Bataan death march. Well, actually, they were survivors who ended up just dying of old age. Okay, I think I found the other guy I'm looking for. We were up over the hill, over there, way over the hill, seeing Reid Shurtleff, but this is the other guy that I was actually coming up here to see. I'm pretty sure. Based on the number of flags, I think this is the one. Possibly, maybe? Probably. More than likely. Wow. You have to have skinny little ankles to get through that. Now, let's see here. Come back over here. Should have come up this aisle, apparently. Yes, it is, as a matter of fact. This is the one that I've been looking for. I don't know if you recognize his name. You might recognize his picture. Let me see if I can show you his picture. Voila, there he is. Can you see him? That's the guy. Kind of snappily dressed, right? He was an ambassador, a U.S. diplomat, attorney, American diplomat, and lawyer who served as the U.S. ambassador to Libya from May 22nd of 2012 to September of 2012 when he was murdered when the U.S. consulate was attacked in Benghazi, Libya on September 11th, 2012. You can read a whole bunch of stuff online about that whole fiasco that happened when they were asking for security help and they didn't get any security help, and everybody else was saying, oh, it's not that big a deal, but everybody was being attacked. Anyway, he and 2 other guys were put into a safe room in the consulate, and then the terrorists came in and set it on fire, the little safe room that he was in, but they didn't find him right away. And some Libyans actually found him, and they noticed that his head moved, so he wasn't quite dead. So they took him off to the hospital, and he ended up dying at the hospital from smoke inhalation. And I don't know about burns. They didn't really go into detail about the extent of his injuries, but he's the one that's listed as famous when you look up Forester Cemetery. This part of the cemetery is called Forester Cemetery, and he has apparently a long history family plot here. So anyway, I wanted to come up and see him and pay my respects to him because, you know, I know the story. It was a very well publicized story, and I thought, well, I needed to come see him. So that was one fragment of this giant old cemetery in Grass Valley, Nevada County, Northern California. This is the cemetery, actually cemeteries, multiple cemeteries. Can you see that? And today we were mostly in this section right here with the Forester Cemetery, but we did spend a little bit of time over here to find Reid Shurtleff, who was the prisoner of war who died in a prison camp after the Bataan Death March. If you don't know anything about the Bataan Death March, and I know I butchered any kind of information that I may have given you that ends up in the video, read about it. Oh my heck. There's a book called Ghost Soldiers. It was written, it's an Army Ranger book of the guys who went in and rescued the prisoners of war from the Philippines. Reid Shurtleff is mentioned in there twice, but anyway, I'm not going to get off onto that. Let's just say that he went through it a lot before he died. And Chris Stevens, who was the diplomat in the consulate in Libya, killed in a terrorist attack. So you have those 2 people up here, and there's a bazillion veterans up here of all shapes and sizes. I mean, Spanish-American War, Civil War, World War I, World War II, 1812. I saw an 1812 earlier. And they all died, you know. They all went through that kind of stuff, you know. They all went through just war. War is hell, as they say, and it's true. So anyway, I just wanted you to see those guys and pay your respects to them. If you want to pay your respects to them, I'll leave a link actually below the description, below a video in the description. I'll leave a link to their Find-a-Grave memorial pages where you can actually go on there and leave a flower and a little comment about that, you know, rest in peace or whatever you want to say. You don't have to leave a comment. You can just leave a flower. But, and I'll put a link to some of the information about the Bataan Death March. So anyway, that was it. I'm coming back up here because this cemetery is too huge to do in one sitting, and I will be probably back multiple times because there's so many sections to see. I didn't find any of the headstone request people, so I'll have to come and look with another set of eyes. I have to bring a friend with me and say, hey, you go look that way, I'll go look this way. So anyway, that was it. If you recognize any names that we saw just in random, we didn't see a whole lot of names because that's not what we were here for. We were here to see those 2 guys. But if you see any names you recognize, or if you have a family name that you know is buried up here in this area, let me know and I can look for it. And also, if you have a family name that you're pretty sure is here but you don't see on the video, I may have cut it out. Because like I said before, cemetery videos take forever to edit because I have thousands of hours of video that I have to go through and chop down to some reasonable length. Anyway, so that's it. Keep me posted. A thumbs up would be great. A subscription would be great. I'm still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I think I have 75. I got a ways to go. So that's it. I will check out for the moment. So until then, thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you later. I don't have my microphone on, so you may or may not be able to hear me, but I was on my way out and I saw this gargantuan flag. Look at the size of that flag. It's called Patriots Point. So let's go see it. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but it even has the Space Force in there now. Look at that, isn't that cool? Dedicated to those that gave and those that give. Our local military, police, and fire services, we are eternally grateful. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve for our children this, the last best hope of men on earth, or we will sentence them to take the first step into 1,000 years of darkness. If we fail, at least let our children and our children's children say of us that we justified our brief moment here. We did all that could be done. Ronald Reagan. Dedicated to Bob Lewis. 1925. Huh. Came to an honorable close in 1946. Revolutionary War Patriots. This is cool. That's the view, besides the pole. Huh. This is cool. The size of that flag.